Hi everybody, this is Laura, City Scrapper. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. Today I have a layout that I made using the July 2022 My Creative Scrapbook Limited Edition kit. I have quite a few videos that I never got a chance to complete. One of my goals for this month, or my main goal for this month, is to try to get those videos completed and put them up on my channel so that they can be viewed, and then I can clear up some space on my computer for some new videos. The July 2022 kit featured a gorgeous collection from 49 and Market called Spectrum Sherbet. I made quite a few layouts this month and I absolutely loved working with this collection. I started off this layout with this beautiful pattern paper that had a lot of yellow in it. I chose a photo of both of my daughters. This photo was taken in Philadelphia at the Magic Gardens there. I mounted the photo on some white cardstock and then on some different colors of green cardstock. And then I went through all of the embellishments in the kit and I picked out yellow embellishments that I thought would match with the background of this layout. I was thinking of having kind of a monochromatic layout, and so I began to work with both the dimensional flowers and these beautiful die cut and laser cut flowers. I also have a small frame and a tag in it off to the right. I don't end up using that on the layout, but I thought for a long time that that was going to make it onto the finished layout. I'm layering the dimensional flowers on top of the die cut flowers, and I mainly have the flowers in the upper left hand corner, and then I'm going to add some in the lower right hand corner of the photo. I wanted to just use the yellow and green embellishments for this layout, and I was very lucky because there were a lot of yellow flowers and yellow butterflies. There were also some yellow titles. There was one that said awesome, and there was another one that said sweet. And those two banners that are underneath the photo right now, those are going to become my title. Now I'm working on the frame that I plan to use as a pocket for a tag. I also have a title that I layered on top. And I have to say, in this layout, I did a whole lot of trial and error. I was really fussing around with the embellishments quite a bit, and they do move around the page quite a bit. Here I'm using some Distress Oxide in Fossilized Amber to ink the edges of some of the embellishments that I have on the page. I ink up a number of flowers and also this tab. I end up using that tab for my date. There are a number of leaves printed on the pattern paper on the right hand side, so I added a number of die cut and fussy cut leaves on the left hand side of the layout to kind of balance that out. But now I'm working on what's going to be my title, Sweet and Awesome. I decided that I wanted to cut a fishtail in both sides of the banners. There was only a fishtail in one side, and then I ink the edges and then I layer them on top of each other. And I wanted to give the title a little bit of dimension. Earlier I had popped up the photo on some foam, so I thought I would do the same thing to the title. Before I applied the foam to the back of the title, though, I first attached it to some heavy cardstock. Sometimes I find that elements that I pop up on foam can sag a little bit when they're put in the albums, so I like to reinforce them with some heavier cardstock first before applying foam. I don't do that to every single thing on a layout that I pop up, but if an item is long and thin or it is large, I do like to reinforce it. I think that it's worth a few extra moments to make sure that whatever I'm popping up is sturdy enough and will look good in the page protectors. I layered the frame on top of a small piece of pattern paper, and then I decided I was going to mount that on some cardstock, and I think that this is probably why I didn't end up liking this element on the page. I think that with the matting, it just drew too much attention. Maybe if I had let it kind of blend in with the other yellow elements on the page, I would have liked it a little bit better. I'm not really sure, but I did find that it stood out a little too much, and I do end up not using the frame or the sentiment. I believe it says "Love Your Smile" that I just matted, and I fussy cut out the matting. For right now, I'm placing it on the right side of the layout. On that same side of the layout, I used a combination of the images that were printed on the pattern paper and the ephemera pieces I layered on top, some of which I popped up on some foam. And I created kind of one background image by combining the images on the page and the images that were added on top. You'll see by the end of the layout that those flowers on the right-hand side look like one large unit, and the flowers that are printed on the background and the flowers that are added all kind of meld together. I think so anyway. One of the die cuts that I wanted to use on the upper left-hand side was a little bit too big, so I decided that I would cut it into a few individual pieces that worked better for fitting them into that smaller space in the upper left-hand corner. Once I had the flowers cut apart, I used some on the left and some on the right-hand side. For a little while, I moved the title over to the far right-hand side, but then I was thinking that I didn't want to have all the flowers and the title on that side, so I decided to move it back to where I had it. Next, I started to think about where I was going to put some of the butterflies that I wanted to place on the layout. I had 6 yellow butterflies, so I ended up putting 2 in the upper left-hand corner, and then I have 4 spread out through that larger right-hand cluster. I wanted to embellish the title. I have a number of die-cut flowers. I have 2 on the right-hand side that I layered on top of the title, and then I have a couple that I tucked behind the title on the left-hand side. I also wanted to include a butterfly, and I ended up using a different butterfly than the one I have there now, but I like the idea of including some flowers and some butterflies near the title just to help to pull the whole layout together. I always like to include the majority of my process in my process videos. For this layout, I spent a really long time moving things all over the layout, and I just couldn't include all of the footage of me doing that. One of the things that I did in the footage that I cut out was I added some photo corners. I used an EK Success scalloped photo corner punch, and I cut out some yellow photo corners, and I put them in all 4 of the corners of the photo. To attach the dimensional flowers down to the page, I used some heavy matte gel medium. For the other flowers on the page, I used ATG adhesive. The gel medium is a very strong adhesive. The only thing is, once it's dry, it's very difficult to move things around the page. Not that I haven't in the past, but it does make it a little bit harder. And with the ATG adhesive, it's generally repositionable. So I like to attach down as many embellishments as possible using the ATG adhesive, just in case I want to move things around a little bit. That's something I tend to do quite often. I attached down some of the butterflies, and I switched out the butterfly that was behind the title for a slightly larger butterfly. I have that just peeking out from behind the title. I adhered the photo corner to the photo using ATG adhesive. I stamped the date on the tab using some Distress Oxide in black soot. I added a couple more yellow flowers that I discovered in the kit. I layered them on top of each other. I popped one of them up on some foam. And now at the 11th hour, I decided that I wanted to add a little bit of stenciling to the background. I'm using some gesso and the stencil that we received in the July kit. And I'm dabbing a little bit of gesso in just a couple of spots on the background. I just wanted to add a little bit of my own touch to the pattern paper. Adding stenciling to the background is definitely something that I would prefer to do in the earlier stages of making a layout. Sometimes, though, I just don't know until the layout is well underway that I think that the stenciling will look nice in the background. So every once in a while, I will start doing what I'm doing right now. I'm pushing embellishments and the photo out of the way and adding a little bit of pattern to the background. By some miracle, I didn't end up getting gesso on any of the embellishments on the page. And I'm sorry that the layout is a little bit off camera on the bottom, but in a few moments, the whole layout will be visible again. Once I had completed the stenciling, I added a punched out border strip to the bottom of the page. This was punched out of one of the pattern papers from the kit. I'm again using the Distress Oxide in fossilized amber to give it a little bit more color. To punch out this strip, I used an EK Success lace border punch. I bought this on Amazon a while back, and this has become one of my favorite border punches. I wanted to add a little bit of bling to the layout. I'm using these Studio G faceted stickers, and I'm placing them in the centers of the butterflies, and I also add some jewels to the photo corners. To make sure that those jewels stay attached to the page, I use some glossy accents, and I just run the glue or the adhesive along each of those lines of jewels. I fairly recently discovered what a great adhesive glossy accents is for things like jewels and pearls and sequins on my layouts, and I think that it's really worth taking the time to use it on these kinds of embellishments. I looked through my letter stickers and I found that I had a white ampersand that was just about the right size, so I used it between the two words of the title to make it sweet and awesome. Then I placed two black jewels on the title, but I end up moving those around just a little bit. Now I'm covering up my photo and I'm using some watered down black acrylic paint. I just want to have a couple of black splatters on the background of this layout. To add a little bit of shimmer and some glitter to the butterflies, I'm using some Bo Bunny glitter paste. The color is Sugar. It's a clear paste, and I don't have any of this left, and I really miss it. I love this glitter paste. It works really well, and it makes a really nice shiny surface, and it dries really quickly as well. Now I use Opal Glitter Medium. I got that from Hobby Lobby, and I like it. I just don't think that the glitter applies quite as evenly as the Bo Bunny glitter paste did. So I added one more little flower in that upper left-hand corner. I switched those jewels around on the title, and the layout is complete. Here are some close-ups of the layout. Thank you so much for watching this video, everybody. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you enjoyed watching. Please take a look in the description box. You'll find the link to the My Creative Scrapbook website. They have beautiful new kits every month. If you would like to check them out or purchase a subscription, you can head on over to their website. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll be back very soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.